Hello there again. It's Billy Ho here with Billy Ho Sports. Today's racing preview is we're going to finish off the Churchill Downs Stakes racing action this Saturday, June 1st. This one is going to be on race 7, the Aristides. And we've covered almost all of them. I've got the Aristides, and then the next up we'll see the Regret, and that'll polish off the 6 race card there. And we have covered all those other ones, and you can find everything in the playlist that I set up for you. So also they'll all have time codes, so you can jump to any specific segment. If you want to go back again and review, you don't have to, try to sift through the video. You could just jump right to what you need. So subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Questions or hot takes or bets or anything, leave them in the comments, and let's get this thing going. Race 7 is the Aristides, and that's going to be the 6 furlong sprint on the dirt. We're going to start with number 1, Tejano Twist. This is trained by Chris Hartman, and Rafi Bejarano will ride. Several second place finishes before getting a little bit too deep in the Churchill Downs Stakes, where he wasn't much of a factor. Is a sprinter that closes and comes from off the pace. So it's kind of tough for him to get that win, but very good at picking off horses late. He rallied to finish second in the previous 2 grade 3 stakes races. So he'll be off the pace on this one again. So very live for some exotic action. Number 2 is Closethegamesugar. That is trained by Adam Rice. Irad Ortiz rides. Second choice on third. He chased the second choice on Thurby. That was the Thursday before Derby Day at Churchill Downs for a runner-up check, and that was going 6.5. But he was 4 lengths back. However, he did beat a horse named Scotland, who was kind of briefly running along with some of those top-notch 3-year-olds last year, like Saudi Crown and the lot. So number 3, Skelly, is going to be your big favorite here. Steve Asmussen, 5-year-old horse. Ricardo Santana is the regular jock. Second place finish in Riyadh back in February. That was the first time he hasn't had the lead at any time, any place, anywhere, any race in his last 10 races. So he goes right out to the lead, runs him down. Once he gets loose, it's hard to catch him. So he proved that at the last 2. That he was at Oaklawn before coming over to Churchill, Count Fleet, and Lake Hamilton. Just a monster. Probably going to be a very, very bet. You're talking the 1 to 5, like that kind of odds. So anyway, we'll go on to number 4, and that's going to be Angkor, and that's Philip Bauer's entry. Martin Garcia will ride. He impressively held off a stubborn Closethegamesugar in that May 2 allowance optional claimer that we just watched. Not done much in the way of stakes racing, but looks like a pretty good fit for him to at least be competitive in this field. Number 5 is Payne, and that's another one from Steve Asmussen. His son, Keith Asmussen, is riding, and I don't think I see Payne in this one. Couldn't really even get into the picture frame when he was running against Skelly. So, Keith Asmussen up on on a sprinter seems kind of odd to me. I don't know. The guy's 5'10" and 125 pounds, and he's a jockey. So it's kind of, he's like a very good jockey to overcome that kind of size and weight advantage that he would be giving other jockeys. But I just don't see the horse he's riding here being competitive. Number 6 is Bourbon Heist. That's Ian Wilkes. Louis Saez aboard, 3rd in the Forgo at Turfway, then scored a victory at Keeneland in an allowance where Keeneland seems to be where he does his best running. He does have the ability to pass up horses down the stretch. Could be competitive in this one. Number 7 is Surly Furious, and that is Glenn Weismer trained. Abel Cedillo will ride a big race back in February at Turfway in the Dust Commander Stakes. But then he finished 6th place in his last 2 route races, faced Kings Barnes and War Campaign in the Ben Ali at Keeneland. I think he'll be much better going back to a one turn where he did win that 4-go at 6.5 furlongs at Turfway that he beat Bourbon Heist. So Surly Furious going from route to sprint. Number 8 is Hear My Song, and that is William Stinson trainer. Tyler Gaffleone will ride. Impressive 2nd place finish in the Churchill Downs Stakes on Derby Day. Shot out to the lead and held it until the stretch where he appeared to be giving away. So he then caught the eye of the 10 horse Gun Pilot and found a little extra to get back up for a 2nd place check. So he could have just gave it up and probably finished 3rd or 4th in that. But he did kind of see some red in his eyes after he was being passed up by another horse. So cutting back to 6 furlongs, could challenge Skelly out front. Classier horse. So if we were to pick a horse, maybe it would be him to upset. So let's take a look at the past performances before we finalize our selections. Okay, so looking at the past performances, obviously Skelly, Bourbon Heist did run that 102 in his last race, but Skelly is, if you can see the prime power ratings, whenever you see double digits, that's usually means a big favorite. So he's 13 points higher on the prime power numbers than Angkor. Or Angkor, excuse me. But Tejano Twist, like I said, is a closer. That S means sustained closer. 5-year-old is ranked 3rd. So he runs in the 90s. I mean, he's run some 99, some big races and against just listed stakes and blackened stakes and whatnot. Did miss the Whitmore grade 3 by a nose at Oaklawn. So definitely can close. You can see all these numbers. He gets there. He's just a little bit over his skis, probably at 7 furlongs in this grade 1 a grade 1 Churchill Downs Stakes. But Hear My Song actually is in this race as well. So just didn't was bothered at the start though. So maybe just a little bit off. Got too far behind, obviously. I mean, you can't be that far behind in a sprint and expect to close. So live to fight another day is what that looked like. So I expect better here. Close the game sugar. Not a bad looking horse. Got some mid 90s speed figures, and but was beaten weaker. Is 27% non-graded stakes, Adam Rice. That's pretty good. Eligible to improve on the 2nd off the layoff and shorter distance. So all that leads to a decent chance for that one to be competitive. And here's Skelly. You can see it going all the way back. You would have to pull up his blood horse numbers or go way back to previously. I think the race before this, he was beat in like January of 03 or I mean 23, excuse me. But you can see he's been out to the lead and rolled out. I don't know. I didn't go back and look at this race. I may go back and watch this race and just to see how it went. So it says, let's see, what's it say here? Broke, can't really tell. Anyway, nothing but 104s, 103s, 102s, 100s, 99s. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat him. The horse that did ran 100 in his last, but see, you can see no stakes experience for Angkor. So just those 100K plus optional claimers and allowance races and whatnot. So I just think he's outclassed. Payne, like I said, out on that one. Bourbon Heist, not much stakes experience either. So I'm going to pass on him too. Although that 102 was a pretty fast number at Keeneland, going 7. So I don't know if the distance being cut back would matter any there. Surly Furious. Speed figures are just way too low for that one. I think I'll pass there. Hear my song. This was the one I was interested in. If you want to try to beat him, this is the class. He's ran in a graded higher graded stakes races. I don't believe that Skelly has run in anything higher than a grade 3. So this grade 1, this was a really strong effort at Churchill, going 7. So pretty strong effort there. So if you want to take the class over him, that would be the route to take. So let's go ahead and finalize our selections. Okay, number 3, Skelly is probably going to be our best bet on the card. A single in the pick 5, if you will. What I was thinking about doing was a part wheel, putting the 3 with 148, then 148, which is only $6, and then you could actually flip it if you don't. If you're afraid of an upset and you want to hedge a little bit, you could go 148 with the 3, then 148. Or if you want to hit the all for the third place button, it's $18 for that. It's hard to say what a trifecta will pay in this race, but probably not going to be a lot. So that's going to do it for the Aristides. Tune in for the next stakes race is the Regret. And also down the road next week, we're going to be getting past performances and hopefully post draws this weekend for Belmont Day, Belmont Stakes. A lot of news going on. I haven't updated the Belmont. I will do that this weekend. So until then, see you soon.